It's Ed, and the future is now. And the futures are horrendous. It looks like the market, right now it's 9:09 a.m. and at 9:12:20. And it looks like the futures are going to start down. Actually, they may not start. The market may be on pause the minute it opens because it looks like the market's going to be down. It's going to trigger the percentage stop on the actual market. So obviously, Trump's speech and him closing basically flights from all of Europe, the market doesn't like to see that. Okay, that's throwing the market into an absolute panic. So am I panicked? No. We actually purchased in pre-market. The numbers dropped so low, especially on Tesla. So remember, we left in 50 shares of Tesla at 628. So, and then I checked pre-market and it was down to like 590. And I was like, wow, okay, good buying opportunity, at least for a potential short-term trade or long-term trade. So we bought 50 more. So that cost averaged us. And then it dropped a little bit more and we got 30 more shares in a separate account for 565. So now we're cost averaged about 600. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. People talk about cost averaging and how you do it. And you can do it long term for sure. And a lot of people do it long term. And that's the main reason to cost average. But you can also do it on a short term trade. That's why I never commit a huge bulk of funds for one specific stock at one specific time. Never do that. I never just throw them all into the number because then you're gambling. Okay. So what I do is usually break it into quads or into four sections. So with Tesla, it's like, okay, what's 200 shares, let's say, okay, which is like 120,000 at basically 600. Okay. So what we can do, what we did, see, we bought a quarter of them yesterday at 628. And now we bought another quarter at 590. And then it went down even further. And then we bought another, I don't know, about 15% or so. So another 30 shares. So another 17%. So also now we have more in the backload, meaning we can add another 70 shares anytime I want to cost average even further if I need it. Let's say Tesla drops to 500 a share. Well, now we can buy 50 more shares down there or another 30 shares even lower than that. Remember, I told you Tesla could potentially go from 900 to 450 and lose 50% or possibly 60% of the total market share. That's possible. Okay, so I'm preparing for that, and 50% will put it at about 450 a share. So you better believe I'm going to be buying more shares at 450 and 500 if we're basically stuck in a semi-long-term or mid-term situation here. So, which we might be. I mean, if it doesn't clear 600 in the next couple days, we may be kind of stuck holding those for a while, which is fine because we're buying in much cheaper. It's not like we're buying in at 800 or 900 a share. We already sold out at 850 a share. So every share we buy now is cheaper than we sold. So we're getting a lot more shares. We finished capped out our shares at 130. Now we're looking at 200 shares minimum. If I wanted to go ballistic, I could get 255 shares of Tesla within the next couple days and just hold that position for the next 5 years or whatever and just let all this kind of go the way it goes. I could do that if I wanted to. But I'm more of a trader slash midterm guy, so I do a little bit of everything. I long-term invest, midterm, and short-term. I'm not just a jack of one trade. I try to be a jack of all trades. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, I want to learn everything. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm an options trader or commodities or whatever. But anyway, I wanted to get to it. You can see down here that we have the 100 shares at 610 cost average. So it was 628. Well, now I just lowered that by $18 a share by adding another 50 shares. Doesn't mean it's not going to go lower. So, but anyway, you can see Tesla over here. Where's it trading at? 579. So already the shares, if it starts there, the 565 shares are already going to be up $15 a share, and I'm 20 away from my cost average. I'm sorry, the cost per share average is 610. So I'm still pretty far away from actually getting to that even part on the whole 100 shares. So I still have to get to 610 for my cost per share to get to that. But anyway, okay, so, and right now, Tesla's down almost 9%. So if it comes back even to 5% or 6% on the day, we're going to be good to go. Meaning, let's say if it comes back to 4%, then that would be a 28 point rise, which would put that at perfect. It would put it at like 608. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It could dive $100 a share total down today, potentially. It could. I'm prepared for that. That's not going to panic me because we just bought a ton of shares in for much cheaper. It doesn't mean it's not going to go lower. But this is the situation that I'm playing. This is a different play than I was playing the other day. If you saw the video the other day, you can see basically we bought lower at the end of the day and it spiked up, and then we sold, and then it went down and we bought more, and then it went back up and we sold. We cleared about 11,000 that day because of those trades. Okay, but anyway, that's kind of besides the point. But that was a different style. That was like a day trading style. Now I'm cost averaging a short term, and this may be a super short term, like 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I wouldn't consider it a day trade, unless it goes up like $60 a share today, which is unlikely. It's, if anything, it's more likely that it'll dive down. Now Tom Hanks and Rita got the coronavirus, so now it's going into mainstream. Like, hey, oh my gosh, even celebrities are getting the virus now. So it's causing some issues, for panic. So, but we're positioned pretty well. We still have about 84,000 cash, and so we can maneuver a little bit. I didn't just throw in 100%, and now it's like, oh man, I'm stuck here. Okay, we were basically 95% cash or 90% cash 2 days ago. Now we deployed some cash in this situation. I'm trying to take advantage of all this. Now, a lot of people are going to be fearful and dumping their stock, being like, oh, I bought it at 300. I better just get rid of my Tesla shares now. I made a good profit. I'm just going to take it off the table. And then that's it. I mean, they may be done with Tesla, or maybe they'll rebuy back whenever, but that's not really the point. The point is they basically are selling me their shares that they may have to be forced to sell for whatever reason. We're not forced to buy or sell anything. So a big part of your own investment is manipulating your own funds properly and deploying them properly so you don't put yourself in a spot. I put myself in a little spot right now just by buying the 50 shares at 628 and not selling them by the end of the day. I thought we would get a gap up, potentially, but Trump's speech definitely gapped us down. I mean, 100%, it was the speech that gapped us down. So anyway, I mean, I was watching YouTube right here where they were talking about Hanks and Rita Wilson testing positive in Australia, and I have a couple sites that I wanted you to check out. You have basically, this is where I check all my day-to-day updates on what's going on. This is worldmeters.info. You want to see the increase of everything and all the numbers every day, the actual charts, where we're spiking up to on cases and whatnot. Here it is, and it shows by country everything that's going on. Let's check USA. We added 36 new cases. We have total of 38 deaths in the country. So we're kind of growing because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are ahead of us. We're 7th for the amount of deaths, basically. But 38 people are going to die just randomly as I make this video of all kinds of different things. Okay, so let's put it into perspective a little bit. I'm not like totally in fear, but I'm also trying to be prepared myself and my family. And we're doing all the things to take proper protocols too. Now I'm going to give you an example of what we're doing. is basically if it's growing at about 5,000 cases per day now. It went from 2,000 cases 2 weeks ago per day additional to 4,000 cases. Now it's about 5,000 cases a day. So that slope keeps growing. And you can see that here where, let's say, March 8th was 110. I'm sorry, March 9th was 114, so that's 4,000 basically. And then 119, that's 5,000. So 119 to 126 is 7,000. So we went from 5,000 to, so from 4 to 5 to 7. This is per day. So, and I think that's only going to grow as we keep testing more and more people. But once again, I'm not in panic mode because of this. Oh, so yeah, you can see all the countries and you can see all the data on this page. So if you go all the way to the bottom, it'll say the latest updates. 3 cases in Armenia or 6 new here, and how they transmitted any information about it, or they were on this cruise, or they were doing that, or they came from Egypt, River Nile, or whatever it is. There's all kinds of things that you can read about. So anyway, that's one of the sites that I check out every day. So that also affects the market. The market's going to be affected by the increase of this. If we start decreasing this, the market's going to like that. And there's going to be a lot more buying at that point. And then let's say, and obviously I watch markets.businessinsider.com, and I do this to get the futures. Look at the futures. 7%, it's on a lockdown. That means it should be stopped out right now at 21,900. So I'm actually trick it out until the actual market opens at 9:30 in about 15 minutes. So, but you can see this is a massive drop. So, and now I'm really, I mean, I talked about it in a video a couple weeks ago that we're going into a bear market. I was literally one of the first people to kind of give that warning. We were in the bear market officially yesterday, but I saw this coming. I knew this wasn't going to be a correction. Okay, I don't know. I can't give you all of the reasons. There's probably 20 of them, but I don't want to get into all that. I mean, if you follow my videos and follow everything, subscribe to the channel, you will get information perhaps earlier, and maybe that'll help you in the future. It's too late now for me to say, "Oh, you should get out," of the market. That's crazy. Okay, I would never get out now if I just checked the markets, hadn't checked them in months. It's like there was no way I would get out. If anything, I'd be thinking about adding more as it keeps sliding down to get some cost averaging in. Okay, but we sold out super high up in this trend. I mean, like I said, we had a huge bulk in Tesla, and we sold that super high. So we have not taken the hits down here. We've actually gained a little bit of ground throughout this entire free fall. Okay, so which is lucky. Okay, it's a little lucky, and it's a little me taking precautions, watching the markets every day, and just being prepared and not scared to sell out. People are like, yeah, but if you sell, you're going to have to pay taxes. Okay, would I rather pay taxes, or would I rather lose 50% of the account value? Think about it, people. That's just not logically correct. Okay? Would you rather pay taxes on 10,000, okay, and pay 3,000 on it and have 7,000 left? Or would you rather lose down to 5,000? And now you have 5,000 and you haven't even paid taxes on that 5. But you'll have that doesn't make sense. People always talk to me, and there's a few subscribers that, well, you never mention taxes, because the ideal is to maximize your situation. I'm not in a state that has state taxes, so that would be a different situation entirely. Okay, because if you get hit with another 13% on state taxes on top of it, okay, that because it goes to your income. So if it goes to your income, then you're going to have to pay taxes at a higher level, higher tax bracket, whatever. You're going to have to pay more taxes. But it's better, and my father always said this. He's like, because I told him, I'm like, what about taxes? What about taxes? I was thinking the same thing as a lot of people. And he's like, I will be perfectly happy to pay $1 million in taxes. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah. He's like, I'll pay $1 million in taxes. I will write that check to the government, no problem. And I just looked at him like he was crazy. And he's like, why do you think I would do that? And I said, I don't know. I was like 16. And he's like, because that means I made $3 million. Why in the world would I care about paying $1 million to somebody if I made $3 million? That means I get to keep 2 of it. Okay? That's the logic of taxes. So anybody that keeps talking to me about taxes, think about that. Okay? I'm not concerned about short term, mid-term, long term. I don't concerned about that. Whatever taxes have to be paid will come out of the brokerage accounts. Period. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's 10 or 20,000 or whatever. The point is to grow that account. And the good news about paying the taxes is I'm clear on the taxes every year. I don't have to worry about paying taxes 3 or 5 or 10 years down the road. They get paid every year. And yes, it will bump you up in tax brackets and whatnot, but there's certain ways to hedge taxing too, to do things properly so you're not getting totally hammered. So, and I'll get into those in future tax videos, but that is not my specialty. I have a corporate accounting firm that handles all of my business accounting as well as my personal accounting for our household. So, and they've actually just said, hey, look, you need to put more money into the stock market. Your business needs to put more money into stocks. I mean, they were pumping it up like this is, you can add more and more money as a business. We're allowed to add $14,000 into an account every year versus personally you can't add quite as much. So they were big fans of that, and we're doing that all across the board. Where eventually we'll probably end up having 10 accounts for every family member, accounts for the business, okay, IRA accounts, whatever, retire. There's going to be a lot of different accounts, okay. So anyway, I wanted to go into that, but anyway, instead of going on a rant on that one, we'll go to Twitter. So if you guys want me to follow you guys on Twitter, you guys doing anything, my Twitter is at future_is_NOWW. So you can check me out there, follow me there. I post a lot of video stuff on there and as well. And if that's more of your site, or Facebook. If you guys are on Facebook, and that's us, and you can add us, and we post a lot of videos, pictures, other things that I might not post in general, so you can learn more about us personally or whatever. If you want to understand, I mean, I don't have nothing to hide. Okay, I am an open book. Okay, I don't have to be like, oh, well, we didn't do this right, or hey, if I make mistakes, I'm going to be the first ones to point them out. So maybe you guys don't make the same mistakes I made if I made a mistake. So I document everything to see whether it's a mistake, not a mistake, whatever, and I guess we'll see how it plays out. Okay, so anyway, that's that. So I mean, check it on, or just do the YouTube thing. You can always do the YouTube thing, and follow us there. But anyway, back to Tesla. So you can see, you can see what we did, and I'm documenting it. I'm saving this constantly every day, what we're doing all the time. Now that I have a better platform with Street Smart Edge, so I can save all the data, all the notes and information. You got to have a good platform to keep track of things. So, I mean, we can go back in 5 or 10 years from now and go back when it crashes again in 10 years from now, or 5 years, 7 years from now, when the stock market has another crazy pandemic. We'll know what we did now to play that in the future in 5 or 10 years, or it'll just be out there. So I mean, I want to record everything I can, and I'm not going to make perfect plays all the time. I probably should have got these 50 shares out yesterday at close. I mean, that was probably the smarter play. The safer play was to probably get those out and assume it wasn't going to bounce. But since it dropped about 1,200 points yesterday, I was like, well, probability of a bounce is better. But Trump basically stepped on that concept, and then he popped it down here. But we're always planning for that. So I plan both ways. If it goes up, great. We work on that 50 shares, we sell them out high, and then start buying back in at a lower spot. So other way, so we make plans both ways, kind of like chess. What's going to happen if this guy does this? If this piece goes here, what do I do? Okay, I know what I do if that piece goes over here. You know, I try to sell it up here and then buy it back down here again. Okay, but the piece didn't go there. They played a different piece, so the piece went down here. So now I got to say, okay, well, what's my counter move to that? Okay, well, let's buy some more shares lower to cost average, and then it got even lower. I'm like, okay, and we still have a little bit of room to cost average 2 more times if we have to, and we can keep bringing that cost average down lower and lower if we need to. So that's how the cost averaging works. I would still love for this to just get to like 620 or 630 and then retire the whole account, make the profits, drop back out of it again, and try to get in lower again if the market continues to head lower. That is, I mean, if the market heads up, if they do something to challenge that. But I mean, I don't see that happening. I see us going down another 5, 10, 15, potentially 20 or 30% easily in this market. So, but I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared either way. If the market goes up, I'm prepared. If it goes down, I'm prepared. Okay. This is why I like trading multiple ways, not just day trading, not just short-term trading, and not just buying and holding. Okay. You can do all three. You know, we're buying and holding. We've buying and holding Google since 2004 at $170. Actually, the initial was $109 a share, and then the remaining ones we have now are down at about $170 a share. So, am I worried about Google coming down to 170? I mean, I'm going to have way more worries in life if Google comes down to 170. Okay, I'm not even going to care about stocks at that point. If that happens, we're going to have major concerns. So anyway, but that was an example of a long term, and then we've got our day stuff that we do, and we have our midterm. So this is almost starting a midterm thing. So anyway, I wanted to leave you guys at that. So we're starting the market. I got to jump on this in a couple minutes. So good luck trading today or whatever you do. All right? Take care.